Hello, new Rodan. Woohoo! Oh yeah, GG. What up?
What up?
How's it going, buddy?
Pretty good, man. How are you?
I'm good. I'm well. I'm swell. Did you understand my message? If you want to share the link out to places.
Yes. Sorry. Yes. This was immediately you
my
asked,
thumbnail
after you were asking me for other links.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I was
yeah.
very
confused. You're right. Hey, when you're right, you're right. You're right.
I was confused.
If you want to share the stream link so that we can get people in here and possibly have a conversation, that'd be dope.
Yes, I can share places.
I'm putting your face on now. Boop. And hey. Like this. We scroll.
Is there a way to just forward? No. Copy text? No. Yeah.
Do this.
And you already put it there? Yeah, that's fine. I didn't share it in many other places, but I'll put it on Twitter and stuff. But...
Okay. Dope. So hello, how's your week been? Dodging me on Monday, I see.
I did dodge you on Monday. I apologize. I will rain check you if you'd like, because I would love to have a chat with you.
It would be very, very fun.
Yeah, no, I'm good. It's been very busy. I'm very much falling into my new role. I have officially gained what's the word? An area of specialty in the organized play department. And they have already put me to work on getting staff and stuff ready for the upcoming regional qualifiers for Riftbound, as well as working with Levi to make sure that Worlds is the biggest and best event of the year.
What's that specialty?
I am going to be on the production and broadcast kind of coordination, just because that's what I do.
I love it.
So even if I'm not behind the microphone, I will be in charge of a lot of the behind the scenes, getting things ready to go for the shows, basically.
That's sick.
But yeah, no, I'm very much so. I'm getting a lot of tasks. I'm doing a lot of a job of like a collaborator with a bunch of our partners that we work with, while also making the world of Universus and other, all US games related things, in the realm of organized play, the best that they can be.
And I
so
missed
it's fun.
an
It's
email,
exciting.
or... Just kidding.
You missed an email? Oh, yeah, I guess so. I'm sending you a second link. By the way, this is the other big. This is the other big talking point.
Yeah,
thing.
I love it. Let me do this. I'm not gonna put any of this shit up on screen, but I just wanted to be educated, and I just knew that you would have it.
I'm educated. That's what I'm here for. Yeah. I got my little notebook. Uh, my new position, I have a lot of notes. So
I love it. I love it. I love it.
obviously, most of our players or people that might be joining us are also Universes fans,
Yeah.
and I know we're in reveal season right now for Universes, so I'm sure they're excited for a bunch of that stuff as well. But other than that, I mean, it's been a fun week. I got a lot of Magic cards coming in the mail. Built some new
Yeah.
Magic decks.
What
Yeah,
what are you getting?
I built 3 new Commander decks. One is this Ishtola. As everyone knows, I only really play Magic because of Final Fantasy. So I
Okay.
built this mono blue Ishtola. She does a bunch of she blinks her creatures, and so you want like big ETB stuff.
Sure.
This one, people are gonna groan in chat. This one is Inala, and I have this really cool secret layer version of her.
Hmm.
She is a commander that you never have to cast because her main ability you can use while she's in the command zone, which is broken.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the guy. That's the guy that I'm playing right now.
that's a big CADH one, and then the other one is again Final Fantasy. The Destined Warrior. They came out with these art boxes for Final Fantasy, and this one is for Final Fantasy 1, and you play as the OG party. So you have the Destined Warrior, the Destined Black Mage, the Destined White Mage, and the Destined Rogue, and you build a party deck, which is a mechanic they used in the D&D set. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure.
Yeah.
So I get to use a lot of the support in that, but I'm using Final Fantasy cards,
That's
so
cool.
it's fun.
That's
Fun
dope.
stuff. I basically am building 3 blue decks, so I had to buy a bunch of cards.
Fair. 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 Yeah, I was looking at
What about you?
maybe doing. I really like what the turtles look like in the new set, but that would require me to like make. And I would only play turtles cards, and so I'm sure that like
Yeah.
it'd be turtles IP, but like starting as heroes in a half shell just to have all the colors, and then just like slamming the deck full of fucking turtles would be dope, right? And they did all the previews, and I looked through all of them last night. I like the team ups of
Yep.
like Leo Raph's sibling rivalry, shit like that. Like it's just like a really smart way to do it. And I really like how the Avatar set looks. But
It's pretty neat.
it's got some neat stuff, but I don't know what I would want to do. Like obviously like Toph is like cool. Toph's cool, but I'd want it to be Avatar agnostic. So like
And
just
that kind
Avatar
of
stuff.
plan is exactly what I want to do with like all the Final Fantasy stuff. I think the point here's my problem now with wanting that I wanted to do the same thing.
Yeah.
I'm more okay now that if all of my decks are just based around and use a lot of Final Fantasy cards, even if it makes them suboptimal. But
Mhm.
like the realisticness is that if you want them to function as a real deck, you're gonna need some extra outside pieces that weren't necessarily printed in those IPs. I know. Um, and for me, it's just like unrealistic for me to own a lot of multiple copies of these Magic cards or these Final Fantasy ones because they're
Yeah.
worth a lot of money.
Yo, sure.
Um,
Yeah.
and obviously, so because of these 3 new decks I have I'm gonna have 8 commander decks, and all 8 of
8.
them, yeah. Now
Holy.
I know that Inala is not a Final Fantasy card. She has a Final Fantasy version that is just in my binder. I'm
Mm,
using the
mm,
cool
mm.
new secret layer one or the secret layer one I have instead.
Okay.
But I will have 8 commander decks, so that it's just impossible. Even if I owned one of every card of Final Fantasy,
Yeah.
it's just not possible, right? Especially with colors and stuff like that. And so I had to kind of bend the rules too. But I agree with you. The end goal of what I want is basically I just want a full play set or one of every single card from Final Fantasy's Magic collection. So,
Yeah.
and then just kind of spread it out across my decks is kind of the goal. But that's Magic. We're not here to talk about Magic. That's
Yeah.
just what I've been doing.
Yeah.
How about you? I know you played some Universes this week. I know you played Riftbound yesterday.
I played Riftbound yesterday. Did Flesh and Blood on Tuesday. So my top eights are all in one week, and then I have a week off where I'm supposed to go to locals or whatever. So I'm trying to go this Wednesday. I know you're normally busy on Wednesdays, but it'd be dope for you to show up to
This
locals.
coming Wednesday, obviously.
This upcoming Wednesday. Yeah. For Riftbound.
Yeah, I could take a look.
Okay. It'd be dope to have you. So the big thing that I want to do is I'm going to reach out to the guy again and be like, hey, I'm going to show up this Wednesday. Do you want to talk about doing content stuff for whatever they have their larger tournaments? And like, obviously, I want you to co-cast with me, but it's like sitting down and communicating and being like, hey, man, this is the thing that I want to try and do. What are your
Yeah.
thoughts on it? How can we make it happen? And especially with your job being what it is, there might be like a little more weight to throw around, and even potentially more potentially of like, hey, this guy wears the has the shirt, and like if you do larger events, it could line your pockets, you know.
Yeah. Sadly, of course, for the next two, I won't be there. So Italy, I will be assisting with. I'm pretty sure, like
Sure.
99% sure, I'll be there assisting on the ground as an employee. But obviously, I won't be at Vegas because I'll be in
Yeah.
Dallas with you.
Yeah.
Um, so obviously, like recency wise, I won't be there, but I will be back. We'll be back. It's just a matter of when and as more events get announced and Riftbound really gets rolling. And I think that's kind of like the generic sense of what I've felt the past couple of weeks, honestly, Tam, is that it finally feels like since we went on Christmas break, New Year started,
Mm-hmm.
Spirit Forge has dropped in China. It really feels like the game is rolling. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah.
we're getting in competitive cadence of not just, the Chinese regionals that are happening every weekend basically this month and also the unofficial tournaments that are happening all over the world as the meta is evolving for a set that isn't even out for us yet, but
Mm-hmm.
because it exists somewhere, we're learning a lot of information, which has been preparing these people for the two big events that we have in English, right? Which is Italy and Las Vegas in back-to-back weekends.
I'm gonna click the button because we're yapping. What is up, everybody? Welcome to the Tam and Barrett Riftbound Super Show. My name's Tam. I'm joined by Barrett, talking about all of your Riftbound questions. That's right. This is a call-in show. So if you want your questions asked on the stream, you can drop them into the Twitch or YouTube chat. And without you, me and Barrett will do our best to conversate. Or if you want to come and join my Discord, a link to that both in the description of the YouTube video and the Twitch chat, to pop on, ask a question in the Tam and Barrett questions section of the Discord, and we'll have you on as a third guest to conversate in general. And so, right before this, I brutally interrupted my co-host as he is a UVS Games employee, specifically working on regional OP stuff. You were talking about the meta and pulling in. Just rehash what you said, but this time it'll be recorded for all the good people at home.
Yeah, I mean, basically, we took a big break. It's been a while since we've had a Riftbound show, but I just feel like we came back from the Christmas and New Year break, and now with the official drop of Spirit Forge over in China, Chinese regionals happening not just this past weekend at time of recording, but also coming up weekend, and then another one the weekend after.
Yeah.
Unofficial events taking place across the world for a set that's not even out in our language yet. It just really feels like the game is rolling at a nice pace of both unofficial, large events that are happening as well as official events that are going on. So it just feels like the game is rolling, right? Because we're leading up to these two big events for us in English. The Chinese ones are underway. Metas are evolving. People are talking about things. People are worried about things. People are playtesting. People are grinding because they saw the success of the Houston Regional and like the prizes and stuff that you can win and this
Yeah.
incredible roadmap that's already been given to us of like having these regional qualifiers across the globe, for the first half of the year. I'm just very excited that the game feels like it's off the ground because, we got to the first set release, we went to the first regional, and then we went on vacation. And
Mm.
now it feels like we're rolling it back up, and then we're going to have a full year of Riftbound, and I'm just very excited for it.
Yeah. So as somebody who I've been playing the game pretty casually, content is rolling up. It's starting, but I haven't quite figured out how I wanna press my thumb on the in the space yet. I've played quite a bit of Spirit Forge. It's very fun.
Good.
It's very, very fun. I think the only characters that I haven't played as or against yet are the Yordle mech guy, whatever his name is.
Rumble.
Rumble. Yeah, I haven't played as Rumble. I tried to make a deck, but then I was like, dude, I can't figure this guy out. And then I didn't love the way that he was like shaped. And then I think it's orange blue. Let me look. He's a weapon master guy. It's orange green, excuse me. Um,
Orange, green,
is Jax? I think he's
Jax,
Jax.
Jax.
Yeah. And I just haven't had a chance to mess with any of this, but I've literally played every other character from Spirit Forge, and man, a lot of these characters are incredibly fun and to the point where I don't necessarily think that it is like power creeping out the rest of the old set. I think there's certainly some shiny toy idea of like
For sure.
I've looked at some of the old things, but like we played spoilers for the top 8 yesterday. Spoilers, everybody, if you're bummed about if you don't want to be spoiled for top 8. Like I think top cuts were Yi Victor, like that was finals, and so like, and we had half our cast was also Spirit Forge decks, and so like the OGs still got it right. Like there's no reason not to be playing OG Kaisa, Annie, Victor, Lee. I'm sure some crazy Aurora deck for somebody is also good. Like it feels like it is just an add-on to the game. Whereas when I first looked at the cards and I saw how much like equipment there was and like how fast you could produce gold tokens, I was like, this feels like an entirely different game. And truthfully, it does feel like an expansion, not necessarily like a brand new game in total, which I think is really good for set 1 into set 2.
Yeah, 100%. And I agree with you. I think yeah, the recency, shiny toy syndrome, we see this no matter what in every card game, right? But there is a real reason when it comes to these large events to maybe not play the new shiny toy, right? Because of recency bias and people playing, but these best of prizings are really creating this real achievable goal for people to constantly be reiterating and building upon the new strategies of older legends every time new cards are available. So I love that. Obviously, like you said, the kings or the queens of the format, the Annies, the Misfortunes, the Yis, the Kaisas are still going to be there because there's no reason they would have gotten weaker, right? But
Yeah.
there are now real reasons to pick other legends, such as Draven, on the same domains as people like Annie and Jinx, right? That bring a
Yeah.
new line of text to them, have access to a different champion unit or signature card to go with them. And like you said, a lot of these new legends are going to be catered toward new mechanics, such as Jax wanting to play with equipments. We're seeing some success from like Lucian decks who also want to play equipments. And that's a different way of playing Fury and Body. So Volibear is going to have some run for his money, and it's a very different deck, right? It's
Yeah.
very different.
Yeah.
Uh, and so that just the accessibility of having a wider rainbow or spectrum to play different things and play different strategies is, I agree, a more fun and a very good card game. Like it's just what keeps people interested. And like I said, I can't play competitively, right? But I
Mm-hmm.
keep up. Obviously, I'm informed because I have to be. And I'm a casual player, and I love 4-player formats. I love 2v2. So like adding this whole new set and extra layers and cards that are meant to be and have some extra benefits in interacting with multiplayer are really interesting to me. Um, and it just completely changes how the game goes. But we do have some real competitive data as what's been going on. I don't know how many questions you have lined up for us right now, but we essentially can just kind of yap because you've played some Spirit Forged. You've
Barely.
Sure.
But this is you going to be like talking at me and me asking a bunch of questions, right? If that makes
Sure.
sense. Um,
So
so before we get into it, that call out was Chad. If you guys have any questions about anything happening Spirit Forge wise, or Riftbound wise at all, pop into Twitch chat or YouTube. Drop your questions. Join the Discord. Come in and be on the show if you have an opinion. We'd love to hear it. But let me tell you what I see from the outside looking in.
absolutely.
Draven. Period. Point blank and done. Like I look at the two links that you sent me but before the show, and boy howdy, that guy is showing up absolutely everywhere.
Literally, yeah. I mean,
he's just all over the place. Do you think that Draven is just like too good? Like what are your thoughts on like it is another purple red deck that is quote unquote terrorizing the format that if we got back from Houston, I would have said the same thing of like oh, purple red domains are just like too strong, and now the other purple red guy is kind of running it.
I have two opinions on Draven. One of which I would talk broadly, and one of which I would talk very specifically. I'll do the broad one because I think it's a lot easier, and I have the same opinion, and I've been talking about this for months. The broad strokes is yes, the majority of the pie chart of these events are Draven. We're seeing that in China. We saw it even in the station challenges that were happening in China before they
Mm-hmm.
started doing these regionals. Draven, Draven, Draven. But just because it was the most represented legend, once again, very similar to set one, it wasn't necessarily winning them all, but it was there on the map in a very large amount. I think
Yeah.
that's just very similar to how Eastern players are approaching the game and finding success competitively. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that, but they have found a key to success, and there's nothing wrong with becoming the best you can at that key and unlocking the best ways into the format. So I just think this is very similar to what we saw in the beginning of set one over in China. Kaisa, 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 and then a couple people have found like the Kaisa killer, and they're trying to go at each other and figure out who's going to win at the end of these tables. I think what really happens in a different side conversation is we are seeing more events being ran across the globe alongside the Chinese competitive organized play pathway
Mm-hmm.
before we get to our official ones, right, with these regional qualifiers.
Yeah.
And I genuinely feel this way. I do think we will still see plenty of surprises, just like we did here in North America with Annie taking down the regional qualifier, Set having success the week beforehand, and Misfortune having success the weekend after, right? I do think there will be this bigger picture to be talking about when the world opens up. Asterisks. Because we do have an event that we want to talk about. In Italy, literally in Bologna, it's the second link I sent you.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We had a very large Proxy Spirit Forge event that took
Interesting.
place in the city that the regional qualifier will be in. 339 players showed up to this proxy tournament. And the deck that won it, as well as the majority of the decks that were registered in the event,
Yeah.
is something we have to talk about because it is actually playing a different game than most of what other decks are doing in the game right now.
Explain to
And
me how it works as I try and
yeah,
get this to
yes, I will explain it. And the
work.
reason
Yeah.
why I think it's worth explaining is because if we literally go look at the Draven list that won the first Chinese regional over there, it is
Mm-hmm.
not the same deck. Like they are fundamentally not the same deck. But it is the same legend, and the colors and or the domains that it has access to and the cards it has available to it are still very strong. But what it's called Miracle Draven. If you've been living under a rock for the past couple of weeks, basically the idea is, and you can even go watch some YouTube videos on what this deck is doing, but essentially the idea and how the deck functions is you look for the seals of Discord very early on as much as you can, and because of cards like Stacked Deck and called shots and other ways of drawing cards, Zon Warrens in game one, pitch this, draw two cards, right?
Mm-hmm.
Instead,
Mm-hmm.
uh, you're looking for the seals, you're looking for the Chaos Ezreal, Ezreal Prodigy, and essentially you're looking for as many copies of Battering Ram and Rasa the Sunderer that you can find. And basically, what happens, Tam, is you unlock this one turn that usually happens on turn 3 or turn 4, where you get to go through over half of your deck, find the correct pieces that you want to play on this turn, and because Battering Ram says reduce the cost of this card for every card you've played this turn. This ends up being a 0 cost 5 might unit that you get to play essentially all three of them in the same turn.
Huh.
And because the cards you're playing to make you play cards, the stacked decks, the called shots, and then you go play battering rams, as you do this, cards enter your discard pile. So Rasa will eventually also cost
Yeah.
0 energy. And essentially, what happens when you do this huge unlocking kind of turn is you have so much might presented on the board, whether you play them in your base, whether you play them on the battlefield, doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
It is putting out so much more might that any other deck in the game right now can do and functionally deal with, that it is just the best at its craft.
And is this happening turn 2, turn 3?
Three,
Like
3 or 4 is
Wow.
typically when this happens. And the reason is because of cards like Called Shot, which I alluded to earlier. This is a 0-cost spell. It only costs a power, but it has repeat on it.
Mhm.
But if you have things like Ezreal out on the board, which you've tried to establish on turn 2, the repeat cost is an additional cost of the card, and Ezreal will pay the power for it.
Yeah.
So it is and the goal is you have at least one seal on the board. The Called Shots become free.
Yes.
So it is a free card that says, look at the top 2, draw 1, recycle the other. So, and then
do
remember,
it twice, right?
Yeah, do it twice.
Yeah.
And remember, we're playing the domain that has access to stacked deck. So we're also finding the top 3, recycling the other 2. So you ready? And you're going to love this because you play Flesh and Blood. It's not just about you going through your deck so fast, but you recycle so many of the other cards. There is a world where on this turn 3, turn 4, even if you don't do the full combo, if you don't hit all 3 battering rams, you don't hit all 3 Rasas, you know the order of your deck now.
Yeah.
From bottom stacking your deck. Like that is the gameplay loop. And the point is that no other domain, aka Chaos, can do this. No other domain except for Chaos can do this type of playstyle, and no other deck can keep up with how many cards and options it has available to look at these things. While also, you would say like, well, what do you mean, Tam? The deck could run out of resources. I play one board wipe, and then like, what does the deck do?
Yeah.
Well, you're on red. You get to play things like Vi. You get to recycle the ones that are in your discard pile back into your deck.
Yeah.
You get to continue to play the game. It is still Riftbound, but the tempo that you generate by making this huge turn is genuinely a different way of playing the game than most other decks in the game.
Yeah, kind of wild.
Yeah. So this is the big one that people are talking about. As I have said, though, I want to go back to big picture.
Yeah.
People have not found a way to beat this strategy. People are currently working on it. Whether it's successful or not, we're going to find out, right? Because people are like shifting to the idea of playing unitless Victor. Why would you need to play units when your legend makes them? And it's like strict removal.
Yep.
It's just all removal.
Yep.
And eventually this deck will run out of gas, I guess, if you find the right pieces and the right removal and the board wipes and everything. And yes, the Draven deck might get up to 6 points before you even have a single one because you're so busy playing removal.
Yeah.
But eventually,
and also if you like just don't put your dudes out, the legend is blank, right? When you win a combat, draw a card. I'm just not letting you draw cards, right? And I'll just like do the thing myself.
And yeah, you notice how I went through the whole talking about the deck, and I didn't even bring up the legend ability because that's just the bonus of how many extra cards you can see in this deck. So I think there is a room for this deck to still have to have its natural predators in the format. I think the point is that the biggest thing to talk about is just the accelerated speed of which it plays at. But as I've said before, this specific version of Miracle Draven that someone brought to this Bologna event is not what China's doing.
Yeah.
And still having success with the legend, which is a scary place to look at. But, and this is where I want to talk about all the extra stuff that's going on in the game, there's quite a few legends that are giving the format a run for its money. So in that same event, yes, there's a bunch of Dravens, but in that same top 8, Master Yi, Kaisa, and Victor. Look one step further down. Top 16, Teemo, Rek'Sai, also new to the game. Another Rek'Sai in top 16. If you look further down, top 32, things like Darius. There's an Ezreal, and so
Twice as nice is a great name for the deck.
Yeah, exactly. Because like repeat and stuff.
Yeah.
And then if you look at the first Chinese regional that has happened, actually in the finals versus a Draven was, yes, I'm gonna say this, the starter deck Fiora got second place at the first Spirit Forged regional over in China.
It wasn't just a starter deck, was it?
No, but
Am I
like
crazy? Oh.
it is a legend that they have
Oh, sure,
showcased
sure,
as a
sure, sure,
starter
sure. Yeah,
style
yeah, yeah.
product. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
so Fiora, Irelia having a lot of success internationally, and I think Irelia is on a lot of people's maps of like being a very, very strong legend, and
Yeah.
she is, especially in China. Irelia having a lot of success. Annie still showing up over in China. And then you scroll a little bit further down, and things even like Azir saw play. We talked about Lucian earlier. Lucian has made some appearances in 22nd place over there. Ari's still on the map. So there is more to be said about what's going on in the game and tying it up in a neat little bow. But this deck is scary looking, man. It's scary. And it's scary sitting across from if you are just Joe Schmo showing up at your local game store. You are just not actually playing the same game.
Yeah. Do you think and this is a called shot, obviously. It's been when was the Italy tournament?
I believe it was the 10th or
The
11th,
10th.
whatever that week,
So
whatever
that
weekend that
was
was.
what, 12 days ago or whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think that it is a big enough deal that something should get touched? Do you think it is like what is, as somebody who has not seen the game play, but I get it. I get it. Do you think that it is something that like we need to touch a specific piece, or do you think that like is Annie allowed to play this deck? Does it have to be Draven?
So
And like here's
that'd be the
here's the
biggest thing that I
question.
would talk about is my biggest note here, and I think everyone can kind of agree with this, even based off of what I just said about all these other legends making top cuts or doing well in these events. Um, all the pieces I read to you were not having to do with the legend Draven.
Yeah.
The biggest thing about it is that it just has to do with the color purple.
Yeah.
The color purple is incredibly strong right now. So yes, Annie can play all of these cards I just talked to you about, and
Hmm.
even does, right? Like Scrap Heap was already in the Annie decks, playing Zon Warrens in game one, getting these extra card draw, and that deck can draw a lot of cards, right? Um, Irelia, guess what? Has chaos. Is doing well and can play packages like this, even though most of the Irelia decks are playing very low creature counts. But so is this deck, kinda. Um, we talked about a lot of it just meaning that you need to play the Ezreal Legend for the reduction on called shots, and then the rest of it is just straight value engine, right? The
Yeah.
biggest thing you gain on red for what's going on for the Draven slash like the Annie variants is the battering ram, which
Yeah.
functions as another free
One cost
unit
guy.
with
Yeah.
5 might on it.
Yeah.
But there are equivalencies I think that you can gain while playing other decks, like the Irelia version, for example has access to charm and like counterspell or whatever. Like this is meaningful stuff, right?
Hmm.
When it comes to the reality of how the game is played.
So the question is
Yeah.
purple package, we'll just call it that. Do you think the purple package is acceptable and red just like is the aggro symbol that like plays units the best, but like on there's probably an asterisk there, right? This is me doing a little speculating. But like other purple decks, like there's no reason Timo can't do this as well and just hide a bunch of shit after he's done, and like there easily we could see this purple package jump into a bunch of things, but is red doing it better than anybody else? Do you think it's okay for us to explore this as for like the health of the game, whether it's cool or not? You know?
I think it. So you ready? Shout outs to the Winning Point. This is the podcast that Casanova's on with Blevins and Charmer. Um, so shout outs to them. The podcast, their episode where they talk about this similar thing. Uh, I think there's a world where like, is it maybe just too soon? Because like Tam, I don't think I have any problems with the competitive of Riftbound being this elevated version of the game that's a little quicker and very very strong pieces in your decks, right? And that's just going to happen in anyway in our 40 card constructed. Eventually, we're going to have some really good pieces, and you're just going to play the best pieces, right?
Yeah, when you make things like Called Shot and Stack Deck both into the
Yeah,
same color, people are gonna speed through their little
yeah.
baby decks.
And like what happens if you build a third version of it, right? Like or something adjacent to it, right? Or
Hmm.
et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And if that's what purple's strength is, and that's what it's doing incredibly well, awesome. There needs to be some give and take then of what is yellow doing, what is orange doing to beat that strategy or have some counterplay against it, or you will just have one domain kind of running the show, and then basically culling the majority of how many legends you're allowed to play at a competitive level. I'm not saying that can't exist. I think we've talked about this. I mean, even with our Universus, our other game, how many decks do you need to be in the high level competitive play for it to feel like a good format, right? And
Yeah.
I think the big thing to people is just like, well, if it feels like the only decks I can play are purple, that's maybe a miss.
Yeah.
Whereas if there is a Victor deck that's good enough against this strategy, and there is an Irelia deck, or there's a Lucian deck that's good enough in this strategy, like as long as I can still literally play any color I want, I probably feel okay. And the question I think now is that we're on set 2, and it's very accelerated, at least in the majority of what this deck is doing, and everyone has to adapt to it or die, right?
Yeah.
And I think adaptation is fine. Absolutely, I think people should be adapting. That's literally peak competitive play. And I think this deck showing up literally, 10 days ago or 12 days ago, there's not enough time yet for people to figure it out. And there will also just be a majority of people that will go with the flow and they'll be like, well, if this is the best strategy, I'm going to play the best strategy. Should an action be done on it? I don't know. I think that is 100% just on where we want things to line up. I don't know. Here's where I see the timeline. You ready?
Yeah.
We had a Chinese regional last weekend. We have one this weekend. There's another one the weekend after. And then we're in February. So when February starts, there is then an English regional qualifier the second to last weekend of February in Bologna. And then there is another regional qualifier the week after that in Las Vegas. So there is a very opportune time if they want to do something, they can at like the top of the month of February based off of what they've learned from China and whatever else is going on
Mm-hmm.
and how they want the Bologna events to take place. I have no qualms of wherever their B&E department wants to put the game where it wants to be. I don't care that it's set 2 because I mean I watched plenty of other card games come out and our set 1 for Origins, I was very happy with how it
Yeah.
was. I was incredibly happy. And even as we talked at the top of the show, I'm very happy with how these new cards are fitting into this environment.
They feel super cool to play with. Like
Yeah.
they feel very very fun. But I'm not playing at the highest end of competitive play, right? Like we are talking. This is talking about the very tip top of like the 1%. And do you think that I know we do a lot of let's look at China, compare us to them, I'll make something similar or whatever. Like whatever.
Yeah.
We look at their format a lot. Do you think because of memory test, they had all of their regionals, right? Back to back, stacked like there were like 3 or 4 in a row, right? Small break, then Houston happened. And then now set 2 has come out. That was the only regional. Set 2 has now come out and it's starting again in China. A slew of regionals all back to back to back. But we've had a non-Chinese, I'll use that verbiage, event
Western.
via this a Western, sure, a Western event happen that had, I mean, there were what 339 players on the event. Do you think that this Draven is going to make a splash over there? Do you think that it's going to be this like shared information of our meta will dictate what is happening Eastern versus Western? Do you think that there will be this cross pollination and some Chinese player is gonna go crack this deck open even more because of how much they've already put into Draven? Like what is a different timeline, a different set of circumstances from what set 1's regional scheme look like as we go into set 2? How much back and forth feeding do you think is gonna happen?
I think it's going to be a lot more than I think it'll be a lot more than it was for the first set, only because I think there was this disparity of people not physically having any cards in
Sure.
English while China had theirs and they were playing in a circuit, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whereas like especially the thing like even with this Bologna event with the 339 players, they allowed proxies for
Yeah.
the set 2 cards, which is totally like a thing you can do. It's obviously it makes it's an unofficial tournament, of course,
Yep.
obviously.
Yeah.
But like for the sake of doing this exact thing you're talking about, which is using the information they have gathered through playtesting of themselves and looking at what's going on in China, they are building upon what some of the early homework is done already, and I think that will continue to happen as long as the releases are not together, right? 100%, I think that's
Yeah.
going to happen. And so this like, let's see what China's doing first. Let's build upon it or try and beat it. I think a lot of like set one was let's try and beat what China's doing because we think that they're not 100% correct on what's going on in the format. And like that's what North America did, right? That's what Diwali did. He showed up with Annie, the Kaisa killer, and then like it just changed a lot of people's opinions. But as we go into a new set, you have to redo all this homework, right? And
Yeah.
once again, yeah, let China go first, copy their homework a little bit, and maybe figure out what's going on. Because again, like I said, China's not playing or did not play the winning deck at least did not play this Miracle Draven list. This
Yeah.
was something that someone else found out and played with. And if the question is, well, why aren't there more people playing Miracle Draven in China? The answer might just be that well they didn't find the deck.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now that it's in the open, I think we're going to learn a lot this weekend and the weekend after.
Yeah.
So that I think will answer that question I think a little bit better of like because then it's more about like we did this part first. Draven's good, and then the West goes, yeah, it is good. It's actually this good,
Yeah.
and then they go, well, let's copy your homework now. What happens if
Yeah.
China just
Yeah.
starts
Yeah.
doing that now?
Yeah.
And we look at the next event, Draven's all over the place. And if it's the Miracle Draven list, then I think we have a different conversation, right? Like of like, is this now too big of a problem to deal with? Because now it's also people trying to beat it. Now that it's on the table, people know that it exists. We have a lot to find out. I'm very excited. I like all the Chinese events. I think the production is so good. Their production
Yeah.
quality is so good, and so and they're great TCG players. I mean, I know we talk about it's literally there's only this division because of release cadence. It has nothing to do with like play style or what they like or anything. Because also at the same time, every event matters in this game because if you still want to go after these best of prizings, there's
Right.
a version of your legend that you want to bring to the next event you're going to, and you
Yeah.
need to bring the best deck to fight the format because you still have to place the highest.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. It is. I'm not streaming this weekend. I've got work I have to do, but I might pull the stream up on my second monitor, depending on like what time I'm working. Obviously, the time zones will be different. But I might try and watch some of this in action because again, I've only played a handful of games in this set, and they have not. As somebody who's self-proclaimed very bad at this game, and I'm sure people have watched me be very bad at this game. It is. I'm excited to see more high level play, but let's get out of the competitive nature of it, right? Let's have a little more fun. What are you personally playing for set 2? What has been the thing that has been the coolest stuff for you? Because you're not grinding, I'm not grinding, I'm not going to any of these regionals. What's been sick? What's been your 1v1 2v2 free for all ideas looking like?
1v1, I think I will keep Set built forever. I just really like what that legend does, and Set is one of the only top laners I ever play, and I don't play top lane at all, but I will play Set. He's just one of my favorite guys. He's just cool. So I will keep working on Set for sure, and I think for 1v1, I think he's very good for that environment. I don't think he's incredibly powerful the more and more multiplayer I play with him because he's good at keeping his unit alive, but you have to go through 3 players' turn cycles, and you only get to use Set once.
The one time.
He only readies when you conquer.
Yeah.
When your turn starts. So like if that person has removal and you go, ha, I saved it, and they go, and second person goes, get rid of it, and I went, oh man, and then I lose it, right? So it's really bad in that kind of aspect. It's the same idea how I feel about Annie in multiplayer, because she has 2 ready runes for that guy's turn, but not that guy's turn and that guy's turn. So, so I've been having a lot of fun with Rek'Sai from set 2. I really like what she does, and she's one of my favorite junglers in the game.
She?
Just she. It is a she.
Okay.
Rek'Sai is a she. She's very beautiful. Uh,
I
this
I agree. I'm not here trying to get canceled. Yeah, totally.
Yeah, yeah.
All
We
winner
we
beautiful
love
for sure.
Rek'Sai. She makes like this weird clicking noise, like a.
You've caught my attention. Do I need to download League? Is that
She
what?
uses she uses like echolocation is what she does. So she
Okay.
makes like these like clicking. I can't imitate them, but she burrows under the ground and she she makes her vision worse because she sees people's like footprints through tremors
Mm.
while she's in the ground. Although you can't see them, but you can see where they are, if they move, only if they move. So anyway, really cool kit. That's not the point. Rek'Sai in Riftbound is very like options character, right? I want to look at these two cards and I can get this one right now and the other one goes away, or I can play a card from the top of my deck instead of what's in my hand. So
Yeah.
it's sideways card advantage. I mean, it is card advantage, don't get me wrong. But also still having the order domain, which is my favorite domain, just like from what it does in card pool, while also having a little bit of aggressive nature that I think that it needs from the Fury. I just really like what she does. I'm really, really big fan. And I think the other deck I'm really excited to try out, and this is less probably for a 4-player like free for all, but in 2v2, I really, really, really want to try Azir as my
Yeah.
equipment character.
Mm-hmm.
Because I wanted to build Azir strictly from when the Eye of the Herald card got revealed. And it's a common. It's just like a
Yep.
common.
Yep.
But it's just this one drop equipment. And because your Soyan soldiers have Weapon Master, they can immediately attach to it. And then the Eye of the Herald will make another little token for you to play with. And it's just like, you've played with all the tokens. You've played
I
enough.
love tokens, dude. I
Yeah.
love tokens.
So I just think it's like Token Turbo, but instead of and I love the color combination because I think Leona, as much as I like Leona, isn't really what I'm doing or what I want to do, even though I think the stun mechanic is very powerful. Still having the same domains,
Mm-hmm.
but doing this equipment token based
Yeah.
strategy is very different than what Victor can do. And I'm a big, big fan of that kind of stuff. So those are my two big ones when it's strictly looking at Spirit Forge. But and so, I mean, the
So
reality is I want to build so many decks, but I'm only gonna have so many cards. So
that is how I feel. I actually went through today and cataloged every card that I have just to like see what I need to pick up common and uncommon wise from set 1 before set 2 comes out officially. So I have to like go pick up stuff there. It was less than I thought, which is dope.
yeah,
I played a Victor deck last night. Thoroughly. I think I just really like the blue yellow combo. I played Victor. I played Glask. Loved Glask.
that was great.
Holy cow! What a cool deck. And even then, like I played it, and you were like, "Did you do this?" And I was like, "No, I didn't use what's his
For
face
Heimerdinger. For context, I asked him if he was doing the Heimerdinger with her champion unit to score points while not being on the battlefield, and he goes, "You can do that," and I was like, "Yeah."
That shit was cool.
But you
But
still told me that you did a really cool like from 4 points straight
4 points to win.
victory.
It was crazy.
Yeah.
It was so crazy. Man, I instantly went and looked at time warps on TC Player and was like, nope,
Yep.
nope,
Yep.
that's not happening. Not for my casual game.
I play Ari.
Yeah.
I set one. I have Ari, so Ari's a time warp deck. So it's hard. I mean, time warp's one heck of a drug, dude.
Yeah. It was cool. It was very cool to play with it. But there's a new yellow 7 drop that it's 7 recycle 1. It's like a common. It just says tap make 3 recruits.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the big one is the Jace.
You can cheat it with Jace. Yep.
Yeah.
and that's what I was doing with Victor,
people...
and it was primo. I was at one point last night. I think I had like 15 recruits on the board, and I was just like, "Well, we'll get there eventually." Whoop, 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 whoop.
Yeah,
it was cool.
Like,
it was super fun.
You still get to use the like Trifarian War Camp technology with the battlefield, which means your one might recruits are way more efficient, right?
Yeah.
I that kind of strategy actually, Tam, is something that people are trying to do to beat Miracle Draven. So like, because if Jace is basically the only unit you have to play in that deck, and it's you kill off a gear to make a gear that makes tokens, and then Victor makes tokens, and you have a champion unit that can make tokens, right? So it's like and then the rest of your deck is removal and making sure that Jace can do the thing, right? So you need to make some amount of like gold creation because you can just sack the gold to do the Jace thing.
Mm-hmm.
So that strategy is a real strategy that will just forever exist that we have to think about now on that kind of domain combination.
Yeah, it was cool. It was it felt very fun. It felt very fun to just have a swarm of little dudes. But I've been a massive Victor fan since Victor being the first deck that I even played out of the demo decks. I've just like been a big Victor fan. But I didn't want to be like it. There was something about it that I was like, I want to be Volibear. Like I like what Volibear's got going on. And man, there's some crazy Volibear technology in this new set as well. The 6-diff. Sorry, it's a. I will go look it up. The Camel Rider. that's their name.
Camel Rider.
They're a Camel Rider. They say that you can't target them with abilities.
Yes. Okay. So yes,
that's a mighty unit.
Yes, it is a mighty unit, and it has essentially like hexproof or shroud or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is huge because like a unit like that existing is good for like the Master Yi decks against the Kaisa matchups and stuff like that. 100%. That card is, I think, on a lot of people's radars for body.
And this card just like
keeping itself alive,
ripping it off the top, just like to always have a guy that is like can't accidentally be sniped down. And then like you come in and like trade afterwards is like really, really important. Like just having that bonus 5 might on top is like so slick. Because like there are so many times where like I'd have a guy, and it would just get shot in my base or whatever, and I'd be like, well, I don't have movement because my deck is slow in that fashion. I'm supposed to like have a body, keep a body, move a body. Keeping the body was very difficult. And so the fact that like this one just like it's not the strongest in the world, but at 6 costs, it re-readies, it grabs a rune back to like ramp you up again with volley. Like it's just neat to take a look at these other strategies that are not the very tip top and go, well, what else did we get? Right.
Well, speaking of movement, I think that's the last deck I want to lock in on like building is like I want a Yasuo or Irelia type deck. I want something like that, right? And like maybe it's just Misfortune and just using ganking and like maybe playing non-dazzling Misfortune really, really has some legs now because there's just more cards. Whereas like Yasuo was already a fun deck in my opinion for set 1, and Irelia is like yes, probably a better version of what Yasuo does, but they are different. Like they are a little bit different. Even if it's just like playing some Irelia units in the Yasuo deck or vice versa, right?
I mean, hell, we might even like have access to like we talked the first half of this show about Miracle Draven. Like, I wonder what body replacements you could have for the Fury runes to just like play Miracle, Miracle Misfortune and just like speed through catching a bunch of points. You know, like.
Yeah.
Like, I don't have to take a turn and a half to, like, move my stuff back. I'll just, like, move it across, you know?
And I think that's the kind of technology that we need to find out if the Draven deck itself is the problem of having this domain combination and the draw ability on the legend. Like, there's a lot of pieces that are specifically for that deck.
Yeah.
Versus, is purple just very good? And can something like what you're describing just exist and be able to compete in the same environment, right? So I think there's a lot to figure out still. Obviously, we don't even have the cards in our hands, and we're just talking about strategies that we've been messing around with. I'm excited to get the product that is coming up. You know, we literally have, again, 2 regional qualifiers next month, which means, and it's legal for them, so
gotta
get my hands on the product. I'm excited for that. I'm really hoping. Well, let's talk collection a little bit, Tam. Are you looking for any like high rarity pieces in the next set? I, as a set fan, of course, there is a now overnumbered showcase set with
beautiful
the Spirit Blossom skin. It's so
sick,
good.
So
and it's
sick.
a unit, right? So I get to like put it in my
find
deck.
3 of
like,
them. Yeah.
So I'm excited for that one.
It is. I'm gonna go look at these cards at the very tail end of the set. They are stunning. There isn't a unit like this that I'm like hyper excited about. Like obviously, like set's very cool. I like purple Yasuo like as a character, but I haven't figured out a deck to like play them in. And so like maybe that one, but I do think that sets like Like it's set, and then there's an Ari, right? Am I crazy?
Yeah, the blue Ari.
Yeah, blue Ari. Like probably the most expensive Riftbound card will be the blue Ari. I can imagine.
Well, we still have the metallic best ofs, of course, right?
Sure.
Yes,
Yeah. The one that you can get out of a pack, rather.
yeah.
Um.
Yeah, it'll for sure be competing space with the Ari Legend, right?
Yeah.
But now this one's a unit. If you want to play set, you need 3 of them, right? So stuff like, and
Yeah.
the art, like you said, it's fantastic. I think it is probably the big showcase art.
I also think it's dope that they're reprinting the seals. I think those are and like I think that's a big deal, especially with like every single one of them are like easily like $20 minimum, and so the fact that like inserting more of these and their collector pieces means that the originals are probably going to drop because people are going to be trading out their OGs for the ones that like look nicer and just like flex harder. So
100%.
I'm happy about that.
I agree.
How do
gears matter more?
And gear absolutely matters more, which means gear destruction is going to matter way more.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. The fact that Fury's got a 5-drop that says just like kill all gear is pretty funny.
Yeah, Thermobeam.
Yeah,
very good. People were already playing that strictly as the only card in Fury for like Kaisa and Annie decks that could deal with them.
Aurora?
Now Annie had other cards, but to deal with Aurora, Kaisa literally only had Thermobeam.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it's good stuff. Good stuff. All right, man. I've asked 2 topics. You got something you want to talk about? We got like 15 more minutes.
Do I have something I want to talk about? I mean, I don't want to jump too far into the future, but like, you went to Houston.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just talk events.
Yeah,
that's my job now. Bologna, the week after Vegas. Obviously, I wish we could be there.
Yeah,
I really do. But I guess my big thing is, what do you want to see out of them? Based off of what you saw in Houston, as that being the first one, where can it continue to grow, right? I think there's some easy answers here. Like, I wish the events were bigger. I wish there was more people, right?
Yeah.
And like, I think obviously more people want to go. But my follow up is more so on the lines of like, what did you like side event wise? What do you think has room to be elaborated on? Because regardless, I think these events function as a way for a lot of people to get together, and there's just enough, there's so much product there, or vendors or whatever, that like people can play whatever they want to play. And it's just how you want to experience the event as a whole, right? So like, but like, what is something that you're excited to see as a spectator not at the event compared to what you experienced at Houston?
Interesting. So as a spectator not at the event, right? As somebody who gets to sit at home and watch, I think it would be like, obviously main stage content stuff is going to be important, and like keeping track of the day, having updated standings and graphics of like, hey, who is our top X players going into the next round or whatever. And remember, I didn't get a chance to watch the broadcast because I was in Houston. And so like some of my answers, you might be like, already got it covered. But like having a top 30, who's in contention for going into day 2, stuff like that, is important. I think not just for the what is the number, but also to like recognize your top players, of just like, hey, these are the top 30 guys. Here's the top 60 guys, right? Like here's we have that technology to how quickly can we get that? Hell, even every round would be very cool, right? Like I'm sure somebody can write some sort of slick code that makes it happen. But I think that there's just like, what does the rest of the room look like that's not just the stream match that's happening? Because I think that paints like such a larger picture of like what the entire event looks like, and it lets you you could even do something along the lines of like keeping track of best of placings, right? Hey, here's the highest placing current, it's round 3. Where's the highest placing of each of the champions? Like that kind of race is also exciting because not only are they competing in the tournament, but we also know that they're playing for $50,000 minimum, right? Because somebody decided to take what's his name? Who's the bad guy? The what's this guy's name?
The bad guy?
Garen. Oh. That guy sucks. Yeah, somebody decided to play Garen to like him. He's competing with the other 4 guys, and so like they're currently at 150 out of 250 people. Are like, that guy's got a $50,000 bill in his pocket. He's it's round 8. He's got it. I
So
think that
so in that
kind of
same
shit's fun too.
idea, do you think it will be a bigger race the more events now that go on because of what happened in Houston, or do you think like it's still this fine line of, oh man, do I play the worst legend in the game right now, but I'll have less people to fight against? But or how many people now are gonna, because they saw that happen in Houston, how many people now are also gonna play the worst legend in the game, and so your competition actually goes up, like this weird inverted upside down bell curve, right?
Yeah,
Where it's like, here's
I
all the
don't
top levels, and then also
I think the upside down bell curve is correct because I don't think it's going to happen with the Garens of the format, and I think that the people who are playing, and I'll use this name because it's the buzzword. The Dravens of the format are also not going to be worrying about best in prize show because they're going to get it because they're going to win the event, right? That's the mentality
yeah.
going in. I will say for like the middle of the pack, right? The people who are like, oh, I'm currently going like 35, 40, 60 into the field. I think I've got a chance as I play my Ari deck, right? Like I feel like very good about my Ari deck, and I go, oh, there's 25 other people. That's way tougher than the 3 people who decided to play Garen just to go for the meme. So I think the middle of the pack is going to be way more crunchy than the bottom. But I do think it is going to exist pretty significantly.
Segue then, as a little fun little topper to that.
Yeah.
If you were going to Vegas and you were strictly going to be playing for best of, who would you pick?
Going for best of, probably Glask. I just had an absolute. I had so much fun figuring out the dual puzzle of you're allowed to get to 7 and I don't care. Like that was just it was just at no point did I ever feel like actually on the clock. I like got my 4th point and I went, I can turn the corner and I don't mind. I can turn the corner and it's fine. And I like that deck is just so much fun. But there's no way that deck is consistent enough to win 15 rounds in a row.
Yeah, sure,
like it's just not gonna happen. But you know, get a couple
you'll have a
good
good
die
time doing it,
rolls, taking a couple extra turns, just play more turns than anybody else in the tournament. Like that sounds sick.
I would thought you were gonna play Lux. I thought you were gonna say Lux because Lux can do the Jace.
Yeah. No, you're totally right. I didn't even think about that. And plays like the board control really well to like fight the things. Because like every time that I singularity somebody, not only do I break your 2 things, but I draw a card to replace it. That's really good.
And you already have the metal one from the prize wall.
And we already have the metal one. Imagine coming over the second one. Imagine. That'd be wild.
You have to upgrade. You have to upgrade to the best of.
Yes. You have to upgrade. Before she listens and it becomes a problem for me. That is not my Lux. That is my girlfriend's Lux. So I don't have shit. she has a cool metal Lux. But yeah, I think that there is a world where not even there's a world. A lot of people are going to be playing for the best in show, the best of prizing, and I don't necessarily think that it's going to affect the tournament that much. But there is like a neat sub tournament that will be happening of like who's going to be the best Jinx. That is I think is very cool, right?
I love the side quest. Are you kidding me? I love the side quest.
Hell, if there's a character to maybe even do miracle stuff as well as Draven, it's probably the character that gets to start with discard 2 cards to like fill up your discard pile, you know?
Yeah.
And draw a bonus card no matter what. Like it could be like if I run out of my hand, I get to grab a bunch of bonus stuff and try and find that second push, that second wave. Who knows? Who knows? Man, this game's cool. This game is so much fun. I wish I had more time to play it.
It's so cool and it's so new. Like it's not like it's only gonna grow, right? Like at least like card pool wise, and like that's why I really like the separate format. So like the 4v4 or the 4-player and then the 2v2, right? I think it's just like the technology of like where that can go is only up when we just get more tools and more cards. And also, as somebody who loves the IP, I can't wait to become a one trick when my favorite legend joins the game finally.
Which is
Fiddlesticks.
Fiddlesticks. Ooh.
Fiddlesticks. He's an eldritch horror nightmare,
Yeah.
Basically, he's a god, kind of.
That's cool.
I
I guess
the embodiment of fear.
The only League character I've ever played is Misfortune Artigator, so I guess that's great. I guess that's cool for me. All right, man. Well, good fun show. Thank you all for hanging out. We've had like 8 to 10 people popping in and out. I appreciate it. Again, not next week, but the week after, we're gonna come back and we're gonna do it. We're gonna have some Chinese tournaments to find some results at 2 of them. Correct? We'll have 2 separate tournaments.
I'm pretty sure there's one this weekend, and I'm pretty sure there is another one the weekend after.
Either way, we're gonna talk that. I'll bring some topics and bring some ideas. We'll talk cards, maybe talk a little bit more 2v2, or multiplayer stuff, just so that we're not so hardcore grinding on the 1v1 stuff. But if you guys have any questions that you'd like to ask, you can either leave them in the comments of this YouTube video below, and we will answer them on the show afterwards, the following week, or come join us live over on twitch.tv and youtube.com/TamCardwell on Twitch, Tam Riftwell on YouTube, and come join, be part of the conversation. We'd love to have you as a third guest. Literally, your voice would be on the podcast and you would communicate with the both of us, and that'd be very, very fun. So with that said, thank you all for hanging out, you guys, and as always, I wish you well. Okay, no longer recording. We normally, during the UVS podcast, yap a little bit about Riftbound at the end. Do you want to yap a little bit about UVS at the end of this one?
Yeah, sure. I mean, you did your reveal.
I did my reveal.
Right?
Yeah,
there's been other reveals. Godzilla, Reign of something.
Kaiju. Reign of Kaiju. Reign of my cat.
Reign of my cat.
Yeah. Did you watch Rebby's reveal?
I have not. Was that the one today?
It was yesterday's. She was it? Was it? It was. Wait, was it?
Who was her reveal?
No, it was yesterday. It was yesterday. It was Mothra. It was Mothra.
Oh,
Mothra was yesterday.
Okay.
I
like Mothra.
I think Mothra's the best character in the set so far. Her reveal is incredible. I'm gonna send it to you. Just watch like the first 5 seconds of it. Or like until she gets to the cards, she does like a little skit, and it's very funny. But yeah, I think that the set is very cool. I'm really nervous. I think power cards or power tokens I think are wonky.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know how I don't know how to read them yet.
Sure. Guess what? This is the same sentiment that people had for the first token that we came out with.
Well, that's not true, because we saw the first token and I went, holy shit, that's fucking dope and cool and awesome and rad.
But where's the reality?
Yeah.
Which is like, oh, it's like sprinkled into the game, you know? Like, yeah. Don't you think that this can't just be like an adjacent, hey, here's a little... You'll know you're playing with Godzilla in the game when you can sprinkle a little bit of power into your deck, right? Yeah. I mean, they're not flashy, right? Like, I mean,
they're certainly not flashy,
right? They're not flashy,
not,
but like, I think there is something to be said about how, like, if you are playing a deck that like benefits from generating a ton of power tokens or whatever, and you find them, like, there is a point in the game where your opponent is never allowed to go 0 defenses down, right? Like, they will literally look at your stage and go, how many is that over there? And you go 6, and you go, that's 12 damage.
Yeah.
You're like,
yeah.
You play one move that's too fast for me, and I just die. Like,
that is
like that.
That's the question that I have: is how easy is it for me to accumulate quite a bit of them? Because there are some abilities that are like destroy 2 power tokens, do a thing, which is like -4 damage over the course of the game to do this thing. Am I gonna have all these willy-nilly? And if I have too many of them, do I just play Armor of the Wolf and just like pop all of them on enhances? Like, this is +2 damage. Did you want to pass? Okay, it's +3 actually. It is like, as for it not being flashy.
Imagine if we had Chicken Kick.
Roman. Imagine. Roman cancels can't win you the game. Full stop. Full stop. A power token can.
I mean, hold on. I'm gonna asterisk you there.
Okay.
It's a momentum.
Sure. That's fair. Momentum can. Momentum is a powerful. This token by itself, if I am off by 2 damage, I win the game, right? And so like they don't necessarily have to be flashy, especially if you are like, what deck becomes one punch Deku and just like accumulates a bunch of power tokens by some foundation deadlock way, because we've seen at least 2 of those in the common slot of like, if you're in deadlock, every attack, I'm pretty sure we're going to go over it next week, or we're going to go over all of it tomorrow, reset or make a power token. So like, just like accidentally find 12 damage and just fucking send it. It sounds very neat. It sounds like a new avenue to play the game, and it sounds like perfect segue, because by the time we talk about it, it'll be old news. We had a ban list, Barrett.
We did have a ban list.
We had a hefty format worlds warping ban list.
It only touched 2 cards, too.
Yeah, but those two cards touched too many other cards.
Yeah, we did. We did have a. I don't like the word emergency. I don't think that's what it was. Like, I think if they just,
did you click on my video?
No, but I think if the B&E team decided to come out with it at the beginning of February, it still would have been enough time for the players. I think they were just being nice, and I think they were nice last year, right? So, I think that's nice in that kind of capacity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, they banned 2 big ones. And I guess that's my question to you is, how is your testing going so far? Because I've seen a lot of people and they have absolutely no clue what to do now. They have
testing wise, I have 2 decks that I would be taking if I was going to the tournament.
Sure, 2. Yours, I know one of them. That's easy because it didn't get touched, and you actually made your deck ease better.
It made my deck way better. I've literally only lost in the last 2 regionals that I played in because of unyielding. I found the one unyielding deck in Top Cuts, and I ran into it and got smacked into a brick wall. And I was like, 4 foundations, dummy. So like, perfect, incredible. So Mikasa 4, obviously, and the other one is just Midoriya.
Sure, yeah.
I think Midoriya, not outside of the fact that like, I don't think Midoriya's Predator was unyielding. I think there are a ton of answers Midoriya is allowed to play to fight that card specifically, including on face once you've transformed. I actually think the bigger bump for Midoriya is Equipment Heist, because Equipment Heist said that people could just kill him on turn 2 before he got set up, because you would just like slam 3 equipment machines and just like turn them all sideways and then re-ready them and like do the wombo combo stuff. And so like, I actually think that it is very hard to kill that guy on turn 2 now. And so like, setting up and doing the combo is very strong, and I've already shown it off on stream, so I'll talk about it. I think Hadar Midoriya is just the correct way to play that character right now.
Sure.
Like,
I'll tell you with what I've seen. Every Midoriya deck or game I have seen currently be played, they are getting washed. And a lot of it is kind of a different side of what you have said, which is the banning of, and I think this is the point, the banning of Equipment Heist and Unyielding has opened up the avenue for people to play a bunch of different decks and strategies that haven't been looked at probably in a while, because said thing was a bad matchup.
Yeah.
That Midoriya is running into other natural predators that just eat him alive, which is just the scary part about Midoriya in general, because I know what you're saying, and I agree with you. I think the tools that character has access to are obviously incredible. You have 5 symbols, and you literally the most recent product going into the event, you can use every card in it. I get it. Yeah. But I think cards like Unyielding or Equipment Heist were natural predators for things like Han Zoe 4 Eyes.
Yeah.
And Han Zoe 4 Eyes literally climbed through the gauntlet against Midoriya last year and won the whole event. and people
Yep.
haven't looked at that character because it's just struggled in other aspects of
Yep.
the game right now.
Yeah.
And so there's just a
I
different
said that.
way.
I said that on stream last night. Of like when the ban list came out, I was like, oh, now that we had this ban list, I would not be surprised if Kevin came out the night before, brought Hanj, and won the thing again. Like,
Yeah.
That's just like a thing that's allowed to happen. And then people were like, or no, it was last night I was talking to Drew, and he was like, "There's no shot that Hanj wins," and I'm like, "There is a shot, and that's the point. She's not my favorite to win, but before it was 0%. Now it's like 10, 15, 20 because I haven't looked at the character. Like, there's a reason to look at it now.
And Hanj was just an example, but like,
yeah.
And again, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that, oh, well, Hanj has a 90-10 matchup against Midoriya. I don't think that's true. But someone like Kevin Broberg will win the whole event with a character like Hanj Zoe 4 Eyes, and characters like Midoriya and his strategy will not be why he gets eliminated. So it's a different way of saying the same thing. I think that can be said about a lot of characters in general. Because, I mean, full disclosure, I mean, I think even characters, because of Unyielding getting hit, I think characters like King Ghidorah are kind of back on the menu because people aren't playing Megalomania, and that's okay. And even if you run into the one opponent that is, play a little, just still play good defense, and you can get away with a survival turn. And again, King Ghidorah has already typically had a pretty good matchup against Midoriya or whatever. Or I think you'll run into other problems, right? I think the Mikasa question is a real thing, right? Recency biased for event, very powerful symbols. Didn't get touched from this list. If anything, actually helped her. Yeah, if anything, helped her because she likes having her foundations, and Unyielding says get rid of a bunch of them. And that deck has some room to breathe now while like being able to be like, I just don't need to play Forcing Surrender anymore. You probably just don't need to play that card anymore right now. And that's a real talk. I'm on the other side of the coin where it's like, now we have a little bit more time maybe for these Guilty Gear characters to breathe a little bit. Maybe the Bridget deck actually has some real room now because you won't get bopped by a turn 2 equipment heist deck, and you won't have your stage reset when you try and play real defense against them. And Bridget will actually still win the game against you if the game goes long enough. So, like, I think stuff like that is on the menu. It's so hard, and from what I'm trying to get at is I've seen people play testing and like good players. I've seen some good players play testing, and they are still, obviously we're not even a weekend, but like they are trying to figure it out. And I will say that it looks real bumpy. Not that most testing stuff looks nice and clean, but like it is interesting watching people experiment and play and try things out. And this is all still in the capacity of like I'm still seeing people play Mark Tyner even with Unyielding get banned, and that deck will never lose to anyone with a fraudulent offense. Just it will never lose. And you know there are obviously Jacob Johnson probably got a big hit because most of what people are doing was just equipment heist, but like I think it means that the ones that people weren't talking about are a little more playable, like the Ashley Fullertons of the world, you know, stuff like that.
Yeah. I think that they're again for our you can pick any character in the game and play it. Those two cards, and I'm sure that there are a couple other characters that like Midoriya that narrow the field, but those two cards were such a big narrower of like it's this or bust. It's very similar to the purple problem that we have in Riftbound, right? Of why am I doing anything else if I'm trying to win the tournament? And we don't have a best in prize come show up with some dog shit character, get 200th and walk away with whatever.
Even with these two kind of cards in the format, I think if you did a pie chart of the event as a whole, still of like our past events where they've been legal, right? Of these are the decks and so like not characters, but like these are the decks playing equipment high strategies, and these were the decks that were playing Unyielding. I still don't think you would have even like a 20% of the pie because of like just what the events have kind of looked like for us. So yes, that is true in what you're saying.
Across the whole field, you mean?
I think across the whole field, even you wouldn't have that many, and I would make that bet immediately without even looking at the Buffalo data.
Do you think that number? Would you feel confident about that number going into Worlds? Without the ban, obviously.
I think that's a big thing. I think the big thing is I fear what's going to happen at Worlds is this. The recency bias of Mikasa having success, literally winning, and getting untouched, if not buffed.
Yeah.
Will, if anyone is going to eat the pie chart right now, I think it's just her,
Yeah.
because the players
Yeah.
will gravitate towards it very quickly because of success,
Mm-hmm.
and that's just what people do in our game. And if there was a second choice there, I don't know. Every time I say the words Midoriya will be highly represented, I have to go eat a shoe, because nobody actually wants to play that guy. Uh, so I'm not going to say that about Midoriya, but I do think there will be the trained few,
Yeah.
like even the international players, because this is that event, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because they'll show up, and if they think Midoriya is the answer, then they will play Midoriya. But what happened last year, right, was like it was the it was still the Ymirs, the ponies that were like eating
Ymir
up
gets
the
to play
pie
again,
chart.
right?
Ymir does get to play the game again, yeah. But like they were eating up the pie chart, right? And then when you looked at who was sitting at the finals, it was Four Eyes versus a Krista, right? So like
Yeah. Yeah.
so like I could say whatever I wanted right now, honestly, and I would be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. Correct.
So
Correct.
so yes, I think there are some easy gravitations that people will go towards, but like people might feel they're like, I'm gonna go play my backup deck, because people are experimenting with so many other strategies. Maybe the backup players are like, hey, you forgot about me, buddy-o. You forgot about teching against me, and I'm going to bring the pain because I still have Beast Titan Rock Barrage and Falling Titans, and Sung Jinwoo's got a big glow up, and, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if somebody showed up and did that thing, right? I know people still really like Peak. Even characters like Peak are back on the menu,
Yeah.
who's just stats that deck.
Another character that wants to have their stage pretty heavily.
Pretty
so
healthy,
like
yeah.
the fact that I'm allowed to build out healthy and like not be worried about it is very good.
Yeah, so I don't really have an answer for you, because I think it is just, and while all of that is happening, the King of Fighter decks came out, and people really want to play the good symbol in some capacity, right? Because of things like Team Hero or Syntheso or whatever. And then, like you said, Hadir being a nice, really good tool for the momentum generation life decks, right?
Yeah.
I think there's just so much that the players have to figure out what they want to do and what they think is the best strategy. And the best players in the world literally will bring what they think is best. And they have 5 weeks to figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. If you want a glimpse into it, I think I'm streaming the grind tomorrow night. So, and that will be my first real look at what I think the meta is going to be. I got to do a top 30 list, which I'll probably end up trying to figure out tonight and writing up a bit of a script. Release that on YouTube soon. Yeah, I had it fully made. I'll send you the list. I made this, and I was writing like little like, here are like 3 positives about this character and then 1 negative. And I had like done 4 of those, and then they dropped the ban list. And I was like,
you had said that, how like you were working on your top thing, and
yeah,
and like I'm excited because like I want to know what Tim Keefe has to say, right? Like
yeah,
Tim Keefe always does his kind of I forgot what he calls his series, but he always does the like up and comers that are like not necessarily what everyone's talking about right now, but like who has potential. I like that kind of stuff, so I'm excited to see what he has to say.
That's my top 30 that doesn't matter anymore.
Here's your top 30 that doesn't matter anymore. So yeah, and a lot of these, like a lot of examples here, for example,
drop
without like spoiling your list, but number 9 on your list, the most recent success of that character was doing like the elephant still in the room, right? Massive Beat Machine.
Yep.
Without playing Equipmentized.
Correct.
So those kind of decks will still exist, right?
Yes.
So where does that guy's stock show up? And who knows?
Yeah.
Your number 12 is kind of crazy. I'll be honest with you, bro.
I think that the order package is very, very good. And that guy puts Godzilla sets on stuff. And I think for everybody at home, Naguraruki, he's just the best like 6 hand size aggro character because he's Godzilla that doesn't have to play 5 diffs. Like and so like diffs. I'm allowed to play 3 diffs. I'm allowed to play 3 diff echo moves, and like the tension mechanic is like so good for him. Like the order Nagaruki deck, if you're trying to play a 6 hand size gotcha, beat you down with the damage stat, that's just the best guy to do it.
Yeah,
and I think that there is real value in that.
But I like some of the other stuff on here too, like Ryan and Braun from set 1. Like hey, the characters that transform at whatever plus foundations are back on the menu again, right? Because
Correct.
they
Yep.
weren't on the menu. You're
I
talking
get.
about Ymir, right?
Yeah.
Like,
I get to look at them now. I think that I think that there's a ton of characters that now I have to go look at to like see what is going to be, because truthfully the 21 through 30 was like really hard, but I was really happy with this top 30 list. And then they banned those two cards, and now I have to go think about Han Zoe Four Eyes and be like, are they good enough to like push some of these other characters out? Like who moves
and
up, who moves down, who moves out? It's tough.
Here's the other big thing I think I would ask as well is who's the next Porco?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think like this is another hit to Devil Jin, who I think has kind of sat at that throne for a while.
Mm-hmm.
This is another hit to Devil Jin, and
Yep.
yes, and I'm not using the word like just pure aggro, because like I think if you just want to play an aggro deck, it's probably just Mikasa right now.
Mm-hmm.
But there are sideways versions that can deal 35, right? Like that can be a contender to play against Mikasa, that are just like, I'm here to bop, like I'm here to, like, who's the next Porco, right? Who's the next aggro 7 hand size character that will just do the thing, right? I think that has to be answered from some players, and guess what? They'll find it. They will find it.
They'll find it. Yeah. All right, man. This is fun. We're gonna rehash all of this in greater detail next week on the podcast, I'm sure. Sure. As we spin up into worlds. Yeah. Final thoughts before we get out of here?
I like my job.
Hell yeah.
I can talk about some really cool card games.
They're
both really rad.
Yeah.